Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Friday, May 20th, 2022. I am Timothy Jaikran. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. 3 to 5 days of closure likely for the Demerara Harbour Bridge to facilitate span replacement. Guyana is the place to be, Assistant Director General says, as 2 new PACTS signed with FAO. 5-year-old critical after found with rope around neck. Elderly woman dies after falling into path of moving garbage truck. And some residents feel neglected as Region 5 prepares for prolonged rainfall. Now for the news in detail. In order to facilitate critical repair works on the Demerara Harbour Bridge, commuters have been advised of interrupted service that could last for several days. Rupasina reports.
Public Works Minister Juan Echil said on Friday that while a new bridge across the Demerara River is in the pipeline for 2025, relentless efforts have to be undertaken to maintain the existing infrastructure. Funds have been invested for the repair of 2 spans of the Demerara Harbour Bridge. While repairs along span 10 have been completed, a new span 9 has been built externally and needs to be installed.
Span 9 has been built off-site because it was so badly damaged you couldn't weld and repair and so on. You had to build a new span 9. So this is a dilemma that we have. We have to take out span 9 and put in the new span 9. Anybody understands what's happening there? Time, there will be some hours or some days where the Demerara Harbour Bridge would not be available for the traveling public. We are looking and we are planning. It may take about 3 to 5 days that we will have interruption of service to remove span 9 and put in the new span 9.
The Public Works Ministry is awaiting Cabinet's approval to move forward with the upgrade works. However, Minister Echil has reassured that several contingency plans will be put in place to allow for vehicles to traverse the river at 2 locations.
There's no need for panic. There'll be 24-hour water taxis, and cars, trucks, and vehicles can possibly cross from 2 locations on both sides of the river on a 24-hour basis. So while you may not be able to drive across the bridge for 5 days while we do that, we are putting in place arrangements for trucks, canters, cars, minibuses to still cross, and it would not be 1 crossing. We're looking at possibly 2 crossings.
Rupasina, the Evening News.
The time-efficient alternative to paying cash in traversing to the Demerara Harbour Bridge is now within the reach of commuters with the launch of its new automated toll system on Friday. Here is Rupasina again with more.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation has collaborated with MMG to offer this new system to the public. To make toll payments via MMG, there are simple steps involved. Set up an account with the HBC and load money to the account from MMG. The Harbour Bridge toll will be paid automatically when a person drives through the toll station. General Manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge, Wayne Watson, explained that management's decision to review the modalities and services provided led to this technological change. It replaces the archaic system of using cash and waiting for several minutes at the toll booths to collect change.
One will say, why now, right? Now, if we look around, there are lots of development that are going on. And in the near future, we'll have a new river bridge, right? And I'm assure you to go to a structure like that with a tolling system where you have to wait and change is not something that one want to perceive with the chaos and confusion.
General Manager of MMG Babita Ram has labeled this as an innovative solution, changing the landscape to keep up with developments ahead.
Since its launch in 2013, MMG has singularly focused on transforming the way Guyanese pay for everyday things that are part of our everyday lives. Bills, groceries, school fees, hire purchase, mobile top-ups, and the list goes on and on.
Meanwhile, Public Works Minister Juan Ejil stressed that this will ease the distress of congestion faced by commuters, especially during peak hours, by allowing a smooth travel through the toll stations and onto the bridge. Moreover, it allows for greater accountability.
With the possibility of the reconciliation model that will be employed because of the electronic readings and calculations and all the rest of it, it should be able to bring greater levels of accountability. I encourage all the minibus drivers. It's easy. You know how many trips you make a day? Calculate it on a weekly basis. Go into your MMG facility and pay. Keep moving. I encourage all the truck drivers. You know how many trips you make a day to deliver your sand, your canter drivers that deliver material and bring stuff. You still have to go in your pocket every day and find the money. Get to your dealer, pay, and breeze past.
Accounts are approved within 24 hours. The minimum amount of money that can be added to the DHB account is $500. There are over 600 MMG agents countrywide. Several vehicles can use the same account, but each will have its own unique RFID tag attached to their windshield. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
As Caribbean leaders and stakeholders come together at the inaugural Agri-Investment Forum and Expo in Guyana to push a common food security agenda, calls are being sounded for more investments to be made within the region in order to better transport, produce, and other food items to the member states. Lawana McAllister tells us more.
It is anticipated that the Agri-Investment Forum and Expo will make Guyana a hub over the 3-day period for potential investment talks. Against this backdrop, Premier of Montserrat, Joseph Farrell, during his remarks at the opening ceremony on Thursday, sounded a call for investments to be made to better connect nations in the region so that trade can be easily facilitated.
For over 25 years, the region has been speaking to movement of food from one country to the other, and to this day, we have not succeeded. So then, we now need investment in shipping so that we can move those products from Guyana in the south to Jamaica in the north, from Dominica in the south to Montserrat and Antigua. This is what we need at this point in time. Let us put our money where our mouth is, and invest in shipping. And if there is some investment here today or during this week, we call on you to invest in at least 2 ships, one going north, one going south, so that we can move our products from one nation or one country to the next.
Pledging his support to CARICOM's efforts to reduce the region's high food import bill by 25% by the year 2025, Farrell pointed out that the Caribbean spends heavily through importation from extra-regional sources and businesses when the same money could be used to produce locally.
It's embarrassing that 75% of the poultry product I import in my country comes from outside of the region. It is absolutely embarrassing that 85% of the food we eat in Montserrat comes from outside of the region. Why should I be importing onions from North America when my colleagues in the region have lands enough to produce it? I understand that there are some limitations to what we can do, but the biggest factor, the biggest concern we have is not that food is not available in some of our neighbors, in countries. It is getting the food to where it is needed most.
Meanwhile, the issue of connectivity in the region was also raised by the representative from the Bahamas. Deputy Prime Minister Isaac Chester Cooper similarly issued a challenge to CARICOM member of states to adequately address logistical and transport issues.
We import 90% of our food at a cost of over $1 billion every year. From these figures, it is clear that there is good money in food production. We buy $650 million of food from Flora, mainly as a result of our proximity, but I acknowledge there is a logistical challenge, and today I throw out a challenge to my colleagues at CARICOM that we must develop a strategic plan to target these logistical, transport, and connectivity issues. This will be good for trade, but it will also be good for the connectivity of our Caribbean family.
The Agri-Investment Forum and Expo is being hosted under the theme Investing in Vision 25 by 2025 by President Dr. Irfan Ali in collaboration with the Caribbean community. Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago Dr. Keith Rowley has touted a single company register in the Caribbean community to ease trade restrictions between member states. Lawanda McAllister joins us again with the details.
Coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago Dr. Keith Rowley posited that the region cannot continue to operate on the basis of each for their own. He said the pandemic has warned member states and is now time to take action by increasing production and trade within the region. To this end, the head of state recommended the use of a single platform to register companies within the region under the confines of the CARICOM single market and economy.
My colleague and I from Barbados, we talked about this idea of having within this single market and economy a single company register, where once a company is registered anywhere in the CARICOM, it is deemed to be registered everywhere in the CARICOM. That is a simple, straightforward way of encouraging entrepreneurial recognition under the law, but it will remove a lot of impediment.
The Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister went on to lobby international supporters of the Caribbean to assist in addressing the transportation woes in the region.
If you really want to help CARICOM to do what we're saying that we could do here for the good reasons advanced, one of the best things that you could do is to help the team of governments of the region to fund and have operating within the CARICOM region vessels of that nature so as to bring our people together to travel by sea in a foreign way. Because it has been done, it needs to be done. Goods and services by sea, after by rail is always the cheapest.
According to Dr. Rowley, with the region now looking to amp up its production, there should not be any barriers to impede the increased intra-regional trade.
There has to be a sustained business model. In my meeting with President Ali on Tuesday afternoon, we spoke at length about the need for the business model. What is the business model that we are going to use to bring about this expansion in food supply that will cause us to have a food supply that will survive fair winds and foul, and that will bring us the benefits of that increased production. Because increased production, without proper transportation, proper storage, and of course, agro-processing to ensure that the word glut doesn't become part of the vocabulary, requires a proper business model.
Lawanda McAllister reporting for the Evening News.
Guyana today signed 2 new agreements with the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. The first agreement has to do with the country program for the period 2022 to 2026, while the other is in relation to Guyana's hosting of the 38th Regional Conference for Latin America and the Caribbean in 2024. Here's a look.
The first document, the country program framework, will be signed by Dr. Berdegay and Minister Zulfikar Mustafa. And we'll ask the officers to give the documents now. The thematic areas of the country program framework for 2022 to 2026 are transformation to more sustainable agricultural food systems, resilient value chains and agricultural communities with enhanced disaster risk management capacity, increased use of digitization and ICT to enhance efficiency and competitiveness in agriculture, and de-risking the agriculture food system. The Memorandum of Responsibilities between the Government of Guyana and the FAO will now be signed by Dr. Berdegay and Minister Todd. And this covers the responsibilities that the Government of Guyana would be obligated to undertake relating to its hosting of the 38th FAO Regional Conference for Latin America and the Caribbean.
The decision to be here signing these documents reflects, on the one hand, the document signed with the Minister of Agriculture, the commitment to support the priorities of the government of Guyana in the coming years. We have been working in this country for many, many years. We will continue to be here as long as the government and the people of Guyana believe that we have something to offer to this country. The other document that we signed with Minister Todd is really the formalization of a decision not made by FAO, but by 33 countries of Latin America and the Caribbean, whose governments decided that the next regional conference will take place here in Georgetown in 2024. Let me emphasize that in 2024, we will be celebrating or commemorating 20 years of the launching of the JADEO initiative. It's been 20 years since Guyana has been leading efforts for food security and revitalization of agriculture in this part of the world. This meeting that we're having here confirms that Guyana is the place to be today. No other country in the Americas is conducting a transformation of its agri-food systems to the extent, with the dynamism, with the level of political support that I have seen here in Guyana.
Coming up, Guyana aims to increase vegetable production to 400,000 metric tons by 2025, and full court divided on Jack Deo's appeal to overturn libel judgment.
With the approval of each new oil production project offshore, more jobs and opportunities are created onshore. And not just for those working in the oil and gas sector, more Guyanese are providing support services in transportation, catering, logistics, accommodation and hospitality, among many others. Oil and gas development is fueling Guyana's transformation.
Try our virtual sports and win big with so much matches to choose from. Betting starts at $100. Play for your chance to win. Log on to www.superbet.gy or visit any one of our agents to place your bets. Terms and conditions apply. Have fun and play responsibly. Must be 18 and over to play.
Your child needs nutrients every day, and Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder.
This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Mental development depends on various factors such as stimulation and adequate nutrition. Commercial cow's milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.
It happens. Your septic tank is full. All the waste from your toilet goes into your septic tank through the sewage line. When your tank is full, the two most common indicators are an overflowing tank and an overflowing toilet. It is recommended that Sevon's Waste Management empty your septic tank every 2 to 3 years to avoid any embarrassment. And before you can say, shh, it's gone. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455 or 218-1156.
Yo, this is girl Patricia, and you see on May the 25th, it's all about touchdown. Guyana, I'm coming, get ready. Drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store, located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site RAINFALL.
Miss Jolie, now your mango sweet, so yes, Guyana, it's been a long time, and I am going to be there on the 26th of May for Stinging Nettle. Me and the entire band, you don't know. Wine if you catch the feeling. Blessed love. See you soon, Guyana.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. Police have launched an investigation to determine the circumstances under which a 5-year-old boy was found hanging from a tree outside his home. The incident occurred between 9 and 11 hours on Wednesday in Region 2, Pomeroon, Supanam. The child's mother has said she was in the house watching a movie when she fell asleep. At around 11 hours, she woke up and made checks around the house for her child, but he could not be found. She then ventured outside looking for him, and she found him hanging from a rope on the guava tree. She immediately took off the rope from her son's neck and discovered that the child was not breathing. So she rushed him to the charity hospital, where he was admitted, and from where he was later transferred to the Suddy Public Hospital. The boy is presently a patient at the ICU of the Georgetown Public Hospital. Meanwhile, a pensioner was on Thursday killed by a garbage truck in Beefield, Sophia, Greater Georgetown, after falling into its path. The dead woman has been identified as Yvonne Morrison, 65, of Beefield, Sophia. Police have said that on the day in question, at about 11:30 hours, Morrison was proceeding along the roadway in front of the garbage truck owned by Puran Brothers Incorporated, when it alleged that the driver sounded the horn of the vehicle in the process of passing the pedestrian, and she stopped and allowed the garbage truck to pass. As the truck proceeded forward, the pedestrian allegedly lost her balance, fell onto the roadway, and ended up under the truck, where the left rear wheels squeezed her. The porters immediately signaled the driver to stop, which prevented the rear wheel from crushing the pedestrian. The pedestrian was then picked up in a semi-conscious condition by the driver and the porters and was placed in a motor car and transported to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where she was treated but subsequently succumbed to her injuries while receiving treatment. The driver has been taken into custody and is assisting with investigation. We now tell you that President Dr. Irfan Ali has announced that his government is aggressively working to advance its current production of vegetables from 324,000 metric tons to 400,000 metric tons by 2025. Shane Marks tells us more.
In Guyana, we have undertaken several initiatives to achieve the 25 by 2025 target. Our current production and where we want to be. Poultry, we are currently producing 50,000 metric tons. We project to take this to 90,000 metric tons by 2025. Corn and soya, our present production is 4,300 metric tons. We project to increase this to 35,000 metric tons by 2025. We currently produce 324,000 metric tons of vegetables. We project to take this to 400,000 metric tons by 2025. Rice, our current production is 560 metric tons. We project to take this to 847,000 metric tons by 2025.
That was President Dr. Irfan Ali delivering remarks at the opening of the inaugural Agri-Investment Forum and Expo on Thursday. He emphasized that increasing food production in Guyana is a plan being undertaken by the PPPC government to ensure the nation's food is secure and to achieve CARICOM's 25 by 2025 target.
To reduce our import bill, which is approximately 30 million United States dollars, we have entered into partnership and collaboration with our private sector, building consortium with our farmers and young people in the production of high-value crops, corn and soya, a special project for the young people to launch shale houses, a project we launched today with young people for shrimp farming, an investment of $651 million Guyana dollars has been allocated just for the corn and soya project, supporting the consortium in reaching this target. So we are matching the targets with the incentives and investment from the government.
President Ali said heavy investment is being made in logistics for the infrastructure of farm-to-market roads and other key infrastructure to support the effort. Meanwhile, the president said that efforts will also be put into agro-processing and the global hemp industry.
To encourage agro-processing, we intend to reduce the cost of energy by 50% by 2025. This, of course, will boost agro-processing and help us in this regard. We're also exploring ways to tap into the global industrial hemp market, which will reach US $12.01 billion by 2028.
Shane Marks, The Evening News.
In celebrating World Meteorological Day 2022 under the theme Meteorology in the Digital Era, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards has launched its $12.5 million meteorology portal in an attempt to digitize the way the Bureau gathers information on measurement. Here is Shane Marks again with the details.
On Friday, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards GNBS launched its $12.5 million meteorology portal. This new system would create a much easier flow of information gathering for the GNBS and steer the agency into the digitized era. This is according to the head of the Legal Metrology Department, Shailendra Rai.
The main objectives of developing the metrology portal are to transform the operations of the Legal Metrology Services Department and the Industrial Metrology and Testing Department from a paper-based system to a fully digital system. And this is basically in keeping with our theme for this year for World Meteorology Day, which is Meteorology in the Digital Era. It also would increase the operational efficiency of the departments in the provision of verification and calibration services, and also improve interaction between the GNBS and its customers. Previously, with the paper-based system, what we normally do is that we have a form, a hard copy form, and we would normally write in these information in that form. With the implementation of this portal, we are now able to input those information digitally into the portal, and it also makes provision for the acquisition of more detailed information, which would be critical for the Bureau in the provision of verification and calibration services. And also, it helps us to capture more information as well on the types and the different level of measuring instruments used by our clients.
With the new system, inspections are scheduled digitally and more effectively.
In addition to that, we have the scheduling of verification activities. Previously, similar with the paper-based system, we used to write on a form, we would schedule inspectors, and on the day in question, we would instruct the inspectors who would do what activities. With the new digital system or the portal, inspectors are now programmed in advance. As soon as the client call and they make a request, and we input that information, we assign the inspector to the task, and the inspector immediately receive an email saying that they would have been assigned for this particular task.
Though the system is up and readily available for GNBS clients, the company is working on making advancements to the system.
We are already working on ways in which we can improve our services. One of the immediate things that clients are likely to see is Monday, we will be starting payments here using the Republic Bank point of sale system. Currently, they come and they pay in cash. So now they can come and pay with credit or debit cards.
The metrology portal was developed by New Technologies, Inc. Shade Marks, The Evening News.
Region 5, the Mahaica-Berbice region, which is the largest rice cultivating region in Guyana, is currently in the process of upgrading its infrastructure in preparation for prolonged rainfall, which could result in communities being inundated. However, some residents who feel neglected are claiming that works are taking place only in selected areas. Andrew Carmichael has that story.
Drains and canals in Region 5, Mahaica-Berbice, continue to be cleared even as the May-June rainy season has already commenced. According to Regional Chairman Vicchand RAINFALL, this is to mitigate against the possibility of flooding. The regional administration is being assisted by the Ministry of Agriculture through the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA.
That program is on, and we are looking at the entire region within the residential areas to have our drains cleared and so forth.
One of the area's canals are being cleared is Ross Village. However, the next door village of Plantation Brand, residents feel neglected. One rice farmer, Vishwaman Singh, says on every occasion such work takes place at Ross, machinery does not visit Brand.
Live here since 2006. I always get flood here. I end up put on pipe here. Pay for the street to reach my fence as a poor man. Now, since 2015, when I come up to this dam here, they never clean this drain for us. So I'll take excavate and pay over 70 to 80,000 and make my machine in my yard. I flood out. I'm a dog fault, everything dead out. Up to 30 days, nobody never come and ask me back nothing.
Residents say the situation is so bad that many of them have to relocate during the rainy period. One such person is Melissa Williams, a mother of 6.
This part here I live in, lots of Plantation Brand, it's really bad. As you can see, when rainfall, this whole place is flood, all over. At the back, the people planting rice. When the water come up, the whole thing, everything. I can't plant nothing because anything you planted dead, everything dead out. And for my children come out to school, the street really bad, really, really bad. I punish, I can heist them out. So that's it, not much to say.
What about the drainage here?
Well, this is really bad for me because I punish the water. At a piece of time, like about 7 months, I went by my mother because of this thing here.
We know that in some cases we may not be able to have full control of areas that are prone to flooding, but we are ensuring that we're putting system in place to avoid any such occurrence.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
With the two-judge bench in the Demerara Full Court returning a split decision on Thursday, High Court Judge Sandra Curtius's ruling that granted a default libel judgment to former APNU AFC government minister Annette Ferguson against Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo still stands. Lawana McAllister reports.
Last October, Chief Justice Roxanne George and High Court Judge Priya Narayan Bihari, comprising the full court, heard arguments in an appeal filed by Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo against Justice Sandra Curtius's ruling, which was handed down on March 11, 2021. In her decision, the High Court judge had found that the Vice President defamed former Minister Annette Ferguson in statements he had made concerning her accusation of a plot of land. However, the full court was split. The Chief Justice ruled that the default judgment should not be vacated, while Justice Narayan Bihari ruled that it should be vacated. In light of the divided opinion, Justice Curtius's decision remains in effect. This newscast understands that Jagdeo's legal team has intentions of further challenging the default judgment and, as such, applied for and was granted an 8-week stay of execution by the full court. The default judgment was awarded against Dr. Jagdeo after he failed to file the defense within 28 days of the filing of Ferguson's statement of claim, which was done sometime in January 2020. In delivering her reason for the default judgment, Justice Curtius also ruled that the Vice President did indeed defame the former government minister with his utterances. During the full court hearing, Dr. Jagdeo's lawyer Devinder Kisoon urged the panel to overturn the default judgment, arguing that Ferguson did not meet the requirements for the granting of such a judgment. Moreover, he contended that his client has a real prospect of defending the lawsuit since the statements he made were not defamatory. Justice Curtius had held that as a result of Jagdeo's statement, Ferguson stood to be prejudiced by suffering financial loss and injury to her character. Apart from the default judgment, Dr. Jagdeo was also ordered to pay $75,000 in court costs to the former minister. Lawana McAllister for the Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, May 21st at 22 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, May 21st at 8 hours 20 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Shy Hope Century keeps Harpy Eagles at bay, and all-rounder Ashwin carries Royals to top 2 finish, Moines 93 off 57 in vain. Details of these stories and more in the Sportscast sponsored by Maccorp coming up on the other side of the break.
Get in the game, get in the game, get in the game with Buster, play.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, Xbox X Series. Just purchase any bottle of Buster, Turbo, Altitude, Classic, or Viva and look for the code on the bottle. Then visit Buster Instagram and Facebook at Buster Guyana for more details.
Wine, 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 soca and wine, soca and wine, soca and wine.
One of the most fashionable events returns. Soca and Wine Day Party. Fashion, decor, atmosphere, and the widest assortment of the world's best wines. It's an event like no other. Soca and Wine Day Party. Choose your wine. Fast wine, slow wine, hard wine, sweet wine, dry wine, or Tifa wine. On Sunday, May 29 from 12 noon at the Marriott parking lot. Early bird tickets $5,000.
Wine, 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 soca and wine.
Your child needs nutrients every day. Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder.
This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Mental development depends on various factors such as stimulation and adequate nutrition. Commercial cow's milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.
At John Lewis Styles, We carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands, and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Moving, lifting, or bending, whatever the job, we at Sylvie's Variety Store have the right tools to make it happen. Pallet jacks and hand trucks for bonds and industrial sites, easy pickup and convenient maneuvers. Chain hoist from Roughneck and Northern Industrial, the perfect solution to lifting heavy objects. And then there's the 12-ton and 16-ton hydraulic pipe benders from 1/2 to 2 inch. We also stock the shop press machine from Northern Industrial. Sylvie's Variety Store stocks the tools to make it happen.
Over the years, ISG has been providing all sectors across Guyana with quality products and outstanding customer service. Proud distributor of NP and Ultra lubricants, engineered for tropical conditions. International trucks and parts, leading the change. SEM Machinery, a Caterpillar brand. SKF bearings and mounted products. Napa batteries. Tide power generators. Discover the greatest source of power. Industrial Supply of Guyana Inc. The best opportunity to make the right choice.